my privilege to have been involved with the Confraternity of St James in the UK and the Camino since the beginning in 1983, in the modern life and rejuvenation of the Camino de Santiago. In the photos which follow, you will notice that my friend Gosha Britsinska and I appear in many of the pictures. And I'm very grateful to her in particular for helping with this presentation. So we're on a journey which corresponds with half a lifetime and a huge change in technology and in attitudes to and possibilities of life and travel. The first international organisation to be founded was the French Société des Amis de Saint-Jacques in Paris. It was founded as early as 1950. And their secretary, Mademoiselle Janine Marcollier, was the midwife. She was instrumental in the founding of other European associations, in particular the German, the Swiss, the Dutch, Belgian and the Italian associations in the 1980s. But the Confraternity of St James in London was the first to happen. And here we see our 6 founder members who came together to become the nucleus of the organisation. And also an important book by Constance Stores with the main academic contribution to the study of the medieval pilgrimage from England, work which has inspired many of those in this picture and many more of us. We built up our organisation, as many still do, by visiting sites associated with St James in England. We also looked at the Camino Inglés, the route in Spain from La Coruña. And here at the top you see a group in 1993 who have arrived at Santiago Cathedral after the first organised pilgrimage of English pilgrims along the Camino Inglés from La Coruña since the Reformation in the 16th century. Below you see the picture of the relic of the hand of St James, which we have in England, and is now kept in a parish church in Marlow, close to London. In London, there is the fine church of St James Garlickhyde, which was rebuilt after both the fire of London and the war. And about 20 years ago, the clock was restored and the carved statue of St James above it replaced. Here we have an early group of members visiting the village of Staple in Kent, where there was, sadly no more, an excellent vineyard producing St James wine. We do have wine in England. The doorway is at Kilpeck in the West Country, near Hereford, a beautiful Romanesque church, and in many ways very similar to the church at Fromista. In 2003, we invited friends from the Normandy Association to walk with us from Bury St Edmunds to Walsingham, which was an important medieval shrine of Our Lady in England. We held our first practical pilgrim days, our information days, out of doors. This was a bit dangerous in English weather. So now we meet indoors and give people much useful advice. At the same time, we've been publishing our guides to be practical, inexpensive, easy to update, and everything that a pilgrim needed to know. And here is the guide, the bookshop in our office, and they're all ready to be selected and sent all over the world, thanks to the website and to the internet. Once the confraternity was established and flourishing, and after many pilgrims had made memorable journeys to Santiago, they wanted to respond in a way that is now familiar. They wanted to give something back. And this was the parish house at Rabanal del Camino that was offered to us in 1989 to make into a pilgrim refuge. The confraternity was the first non-Spanish organisation to become involved with refugees. We entered into partnership with the El Bierzo Amigos de Santiago and with the Diocese of Astorga. And the new refuge was opened in 1991. And by now, 133,000 pilgrims have stayed there in 22 years. We've also always tried to build up our knowledge of the various caminos as they have been developing. These pictures are from our pilgrimage that we made along the Camino Primitivo. And through these journeys we can build up our contacts and our knowledge to improve our guides. Also we attend academic conferences and meetings with associations. And we also came here to Poland, to Krakow, to continue that work of increasing our knowledge. By now the confraternity is 25 years old, and we published this booklet, Roads to Santiago, and we had a very nice launch of the guide in the House of Lords in the Palace of Westminster. So still ready for new challenges, we decided to open a second refuge, and we took particular care to become familiar with the newly developing routes and trying to identify gaps in the network of albergues. And we found the village of Miraf in Galicia on the Camino del Norte. We raised money and refurbished the building. We opened in 2005 and had a new part of the building built by 2011, and we were fortunate to receive help from the Jacobeo. We've discovered that it's quite different running a refuge in the last 100 kilometres, even on the Camino del Norte. The ramp is within the last 100. It makes a difference to the pilgrims, the numbers, and the general demeanour of the pilgrims. And we are now spending more time developing training of hospitaleros and also having to respond of the new environment of legislation with regards to running albergues, health and safety, and so on. Like everyone else, we run retreats and meetings for pilgrims when they have returned. For instance, we have been to the monastery at Ampleforth in the north of England, a Benedictine abbey, and there we have been encouraged, well, have been learnt about monastic hospitality, learned to understand more about it, which we feed back into our hospitalero training. We also have here, on the right, the Church of St. James in Reading